And then today I'm going to present a paper. I was told that a lot of audience will be a mix of academic friends and some practitioners and students as well. So that's why I'm choosing this paper. I feel this paper will be potentially interesting to students and to academic colleagues and industry experts as well. So let me briefly talk about what we did in the project, and you guys also, I would love to get you guys feedback. Feel free to raise any questions and comments and feedback. I love to hear you guys your thoughts about the project. So what are we trying to do is to understand the pictures, the images executives disclosed during their presentations to investors and stakeholders and shareholders. So we're trying to understand this kind of presentation images in these presentations. So let me give you guys a little background of what I was talking about this kind of presentations. So basically, the corporate executives, they do a lot of presentations. Sometimes is a non-deal roadshow. Sometimes it's roadshow, sometimes it's a presentation in brokerage firms to present their information to sell side and buy side. So basically, executive teams, they make a lot of presentations every year to represent their firms, to inform potential investors, stakeholders, and shareholders. So what we did is we get all the slides of these presentations. We did a massive collection, crawl online. We got all the slides of these CEO presentations, and we get the pictures out from their slides. And we're trying to understand the two questions from these pictures. The first question we're trying to understand is, do any of the pictures convey useful information for investors for stock evaluation, stock price evaluation? So basically, do any of the pictures have price impact on stock price? That's the first question we're trying to ask. The second question we're trying to ask is, if the picture have price impact on the stock price, who are using these pictures? Are retail investors using these pictures? Institutional investors using these pictures, are machine using these pictures? So these are the second question we ask in the paper. So basically boils down to the two questions. Is this picture useful for stock price prediction? Second is, who are using the pictures? So basically that's the two straightforward question we're trying to answer in the project. So I want to give a little background of what is the pictures about. And then, so I'm going to flip a little bit about order, and you guys can see. So this is the most of the pictures we trying to extract from the slides. So you can see that the first two pictures is, one is about the construction of the company. So they show unfinished construction site during the presentation. The second one is they are showing the expansion plan, like the company trying to expand to other locations. So it's an expansion plan of the firm. They trying to disclose during their presentations. And we have other pictures about a future car, like this company disclose the future vehicle of the firm, and also they also give this is the future project, like a blueprint, like what kind of construction they are trying to make in the future years. So this type of pictures, and also we have some pictures about construction, and so we have some pictures about construction, and we also have some pictures about the financial graphs and the predicted earnings and stuff. So the point we want to make here is, so these type of two pictures are unique in the presentation. The future products, future construction, these are unique in the presentation. While in these, the future revenue, future earnings, you can easily obtain these pictures from annual report and 10K. So the point I want to deliver here is the presentation setting is very different from the annual report or other information disclosure, because in terms of contents, you can see that the presentation is more focused on the future operation of the firm or past operation of the firm. They are less focused on the financial performance prediction or forecasting. Well, this information you can easily obtain from 10K. That's why we don't use 10K picture as the setting. Instead, we don't use presentation because we want to focus on more on the operational side. So that's some like very short background about the presentation. What kind of stuff they discuss about the presentation. So maybe I'm for flipping back and forth. I just want to show you guys some pictures so you guys can see some. So what's the challenge here? The challenge is these pictures are very difficult to analyze. You know our finance and accounting research, we start from analyzing numerical data. Okay, now everyone moved to the textual data. Now everyone move to the image data. But there's a barrier of that. The barrier is these images are very complicated. There's a lot of content and information. So that's why we want to use AI and Fintech and machine learning to analyze these pictures. So help us to understand the two questions I was raising earlier, and help to understand what is going on here, and so that's why we'll rely on AI and some transfer learning model to understand these pictures. So another thing I want to talk about is also it's also important to understand who are using these pictures. So in addition to understand whether pictures are useful or not for predicting price, also we want to understand who are using these pictures as well. So I think this is important perspective. Why are we can using AI to analyze these pictures, but how about other people? How about other market participants? Are they using the same thing to understand these pictures? So these are the questions we're trying to understand. So some anecdotal evidence, you see that some mutual hedge fund, they are already using AI analyzing something like this. So you can see that these hedge funds, they are using AI, and then they're trying to understand some unstructured data, and to help to inform the trading strategy. So there's some anecdotal evidence. As I was trying to say in earlier, I hope this project is interesting to both our students, industry experts, and academic colleagues. So because this is something industry is already doing, and we're trying to provide some evidence for industry, what's the best way for them to do so. So this is yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Experts in AI and Fintech, unfortunately, that's why we invited you. But how do these brokerage firms and hedge funds use AI to make the investment decisions? Can you just give like a brief explanation? Do they not attend the presentations? Do they analyze corporate reports? What do they use AI for?
So different hedge funds have different ways to understand this, using this kind of unstructured data. So I have another paper. I built an AI system for hedge funds. So if you guys are interested, you can check my website. It's called the Man versus Machine, or Man plus Machine. So in that paper, I built an AI system that a lot of hedge funds will use to predict stock price. So the idea here is, so for example, let's say you want to predict Google stock price, and then the system can crawl every single information about Google in the past 5 years. So annual report, presentations, press release, stock price, liquidity, momentum, accruals. So, so the machine can crowd every single public information about Google online in the past 5 years. And then we train a machine to understand this data to predict Google stock price. So it takes our team 3.5 years. So at the beginning, we can only beat about 30% of Wall Street analysts to beating this price prediction. Right now, after 3.5 years training, we can beat more than half of the Wall Street analysts for understanding all this massive unstructured data when predicting stock price. So, so that's the AI I was talking about. Also, industry using. So it takes a lot of time to understand all this data, and it takes a lot of time to training a system to understand this data. And then, and also, I'm sure you guys know some basic of the. So machine learning, the key word is learning, is not a machine, because normally when you guys run OLS logistic, it's just one-time optimization. But machine learning it's an iteration. So basically, we have to train a model. Basically, the model model at the beginning was 3 years old kid, and now it's college students. The reason that we can train the model because it's repeated iteration to optimize the system to understand the pattern of the data. So that's the learning part comes from. That's why it takes us 3.5 years for a long time to computational power to understand the data. So you can think about human to take the exam. So a lot of students are taking like SAT exams. So let's say if you are a human, you take the SAT exam, you take it 2,000 times, maybe it take you 2 years to take the exam. And then every time, once you finish the exam, you check your answer, you learn something, you take it again, you are improving as a human. But the machine can finish 2,000 exams maybe in 2 hours. And then every time the machine can check the answer and to learn something back. So, and then improve every time. So that's what I was talking about. AI has ability to improve learning in a fast way than human. So, so then that's the intelligence we are talking about here. So does it make sense? I kind of give a long answer to your question. Yeah.
Yes, this is very, very good. Thank you. And then very impressive that you can actually outperform more than half of the analysts.
Yes, yes. It takes time.
Yeah. So outperforming is in terms of predicting earnings or stock price.
Predicting stock returns.
Stock returns.
Stock returns.
Very impressive. Thank you.
But for that project, our main point is not saying AI should replace half of the Wall Street analysts. That paper, we're not saying AI can replace human. That point is we want to show how humans should survive in the age of AI. So basically, because we have another half of analysts who can still survive in the age of AI, right? So we focus on the surviving group. We found some skills they have, machine do not have. So we kind of provide implication for students, like what students should learn in order to survive in the age of AI. So the basic point is human has some skills machine do not have. Machine have some skills human do not have. We don't want to compete with each other. We want to be complementary to each other. So in that way, we can educate our students with some skills human will have strength in, but machine cannot actually replace us. And then if we educate our students in that way, we will have very competitive students in the age of AI. That's the message we want to send in that paper. If you guys are interested, you can check it out. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just moving forward with this. We have a lot of AI here too. So what's the findings we have is we found a couple of things. First, we found not all pictures are useful. No, not all pictures are useful. The useful picture are pictures carries information about the product and operation. And also that's not enough. They must carry about the future information, about future operation and future product. So let's say if you see a like iPhone picture, which you already see on the market, that kind of information is not useful. But if you see a iPhone design, which will be released maybe in the next 2 years, that information will have an impact on stock price. So basically, we are trying to classify the images and find only the future information about operation and pictures will have price impact on the stock price. Other pictures like operational like summary of the past operations or products or the financial predictions, these do not have any impact on stock price. So that's that's the first finding we found in the project. And second, we found that the second we found is this kind of the pictures, the future pictures actually positively associated with future sales and earnings. So, but in the long term, not short term. So basically the point is when the company disclose the iPhone design, which will be released in 2 years, and then that kind of disclosure of the product design will not affect the near-term earnings or sales. We only affect long-term earnings after 1 year earnings and sales. So basically, this type of forward-looking pictures about operations will only affect over a year sales and earnings, not the near-term earnings. So that's the second thing we found. These are good information firms trying to disclose. And then we are trying to show who are trading these pictures. So we found that we divided investors into 3 groups. The first group is AI hedge fund, AI institutional ownership, AI institutional investors. Another one is non-AI institutional investors. The third group is retail investors. We found only AI hedge funds, AI institutional investors are using these pictures. Non-AI funds, like mutual funds, they are not using these pictures. Retail investors, they are far away of using this information. So basically, we kind of divide these investors into 3 groups: AI institutional, non-AI institutional, and retail investors. And we only find AI-equipped institutions are using these images. And so basically that's the finding of the project. So to be short, the finding is not all pictures are useful. Only particularly pictures are useful who carries important contents about future operations. Second is not everyone are using these pictures. Only AI-equipped institutions are using these pictures. Other people are not. They are. So it gives some implication is the technology. So basically, some implication is the technology actually give a reward to investors. If you are equipped with AI, you can understand some data which are not accessible to people who do not have the technology. So it kind of, I mean, I don't want to make this big, but it kind of, should we think about this is like leveling playing ground for everyone? Are we fair in this setting? Like for people who have technology, they can trade on some data you don't know. People who don't have the technology, they kind of behind the game. So I don't want to make this too big, but is this sometimes do we have to think about how to be fair in the rise of technology for people who have the technology, for people who do not have technology, and do we have to the certain group of people they're always behind the game because of they don't have access to technology. So this is some questions I just want to raise in the paper and have everyone think about it, like a fairness of the capital market in terms of the rising of the technology, and also the rewarding profit of adopting this technology. So these are the questions I was thinking we can raise in the paper, even we don't have answer for, but by showing this evidence we can think more about how to regulate this technology, how to make everyone have a fair share in the trading strategy of understanding the firm information. So so the data, we crawl all the data websites. This is take like 2 years to crawl all this data to get all the presentation slides. And then this is some descriptive evidence. You can see that. So the blue bar is the number of presentation. You can see that over the years, the CEOs, CFOs, executives, they present more and more during the recent years. So the orange bar is the forward-looking pictures. So basically, so basically the orange bar is how many forward-looking pictures about this product and the operations in the presentation. So you can see that there are two rising trends. The first rising trend, you can see that more and more presentations happening during the recent years. And the second is the CEOs, they are more likely to present images of future product and future operations during this presentation. So you can see that's the two rising trend over the years. So this is so some descriptive to show you guys the trend of this presentation trend and the future pictures of the forward-looking pictures of products and operations. So no doubt, compared to the 10K, 10K has different contents. 10K, you can see that it's more related to the financial information, to like numbers, earnings numbers. It's less heavily focused on operational or products. So that's why we are not using 10K. We're using different setting because we want to focus more on the different type of images. So this is the distribution of the presentation. So because our presentation, we are not just focused on the road show. Our presentation includes everything: the road show, non-deal road show, sometimes CEO visited investment banks, brokerage house. So we include all kinds of presentation. So you can see that the presentation is evenly distributed over the 12 months. So the orange bar is the presentation. So you can see the orange bar is kind of uniform distribution over the 12 months. So let's look at the 10Q. 10Q is the gray bar. The gray bar, you can see that the gray bar, they focus on the end of each year, physical quarter end. So you can see that among the May is the physical end of the first quarter, and you can see that the August is the physical end of the second around the second fiscal quarter, and November is the end of the third fiscal quarter, and so the fourth quarter 10Q normally combine with 10K. So that's why you see in February there's a large frequency of the large bar of the blue bar, which is 10K. So normally firm they combine 10K and 10Q together. So not all 10Q. The fourth quarter of 10Q normally combine with 10K. So that's why you can see that there's a huge bar on the February. So you can see that the presentation is different from the 10K and 10Q because 10K and 10Q are concentrated on the end of the fiscal quarter or fiscal year end, while the presentation is evenly distributed over the 12 months. So that's some descriptive evidence about the presentation. And then so how we classify these pictures? We classify the pictures into the pictures which are conveying forward-looking product information and future product. We call it OF, operational forwards. We also have operational summary, which is summarize the past products and past operations. And we have others. Others is like financial information, bars, pies, plots, and other pictures, logos, some stuff. So basically, we want to classify the pictures into the three categories. Okay, so we have about 1 million pictures, 1 million pictures. So how are we going to classify the 1 million pictures? With less than 1 million, we have about 800,000 pictures to be classified. So there's no way we can actually using our human labor to classify this kind of 800,000 pictures. So that's why we use machine learning to help to classify these pictures and understand these pictures. So let me explain this algorithm a little bit so we can understand. So this is what I do in my class. because most of my students are not computer science major. So I have a little bit different background. I start with my career as a computer scientist, and I moved to business school, did my PhD in the business in accounting. So for me, it's kind of I can have easier access to this algorithm and model. But most of my students at Maryland, they actually do not have background in computer science. So my goal, my objective is I want to explain this algorithm to my students, even they don't have any computer science background. So I want to make everything in plain English. At least they understand what's the concept, what's the framework, what's the intuition of this kind of algorithm. And then once they understand that, they may not able to develop this algorithm, but they can use this algorithm. So basically, there's a two level of usage for this kind of AI. One is you develop the underlying algorithm, which I do not suggest business students to do that because you require very strong math background and computer science background. That route does not fit us. But what fits us is a lot of model here is pre-built. You can use this function. So there's a lot of functions already there, and you can just call the function, use the function for your research. And that's the route I encourage my students to do. So in order to pursue that route, they need to understand some like general intuition of the algorithm and what kind of package they can use, what kind of function has been pre-built in the library. So that's the purpose. I try to educate my students to use this function instead of developing this function, which that's a more hard part for computer science major. So what's the intuition here? I just want you guys give you guys intuition. There's a lot of concept we're trying to cover here, but don't be intimidated by all these graphs, this kind of stuff. Don't be intimidated. Let me just put a very simple language to explain what we did. So basically, in order for machine to understand these pictures, what we did is we use supervised machine learning. So supervised means you have to supervise the machine to understand these pictures. And another group of machine learning is called unsupervised. So let's put unsupervised along. I don't want to confuse many of the students or the audience or the faculty here. Let's put the unsupervised along. Let's just focus on the supervised. So what does supervised mean? Let me give you the procedure we did in the paper. So we pick up like 10,000 to 20,000 pictures as training sample. So by saying training sample, we have 6 RAs to label these pictures. So RA will label these pictures as, oh, this is the picture with the forward-looking pictures, product. This picture with just product summary. These pictures with financial bars. So human can read these 10,000 to 20,000 pictures and classify them into what we need, products, future products, and financial. So after we've done that procedure, we will have 10 to 20,000 training sample and with the human labeling. And with that human labeling, what we did is we built a machine learning to understand the human labeling process. So basically the idea here is we want to mimic the human intelligence of recognizing these products, future information, financial bars and prods. So that's the procedure we did. So basically we have the 6 RAs to label this training sample, and then we build AI model, supervised AI model to replicate human intelligence of understanding these products, financial bars and future information. And then we check the accuracy. So basically, let's say humans' intelligence of recognizing these pictures are 100%. We can see that how much the machine can replicate the human intelligence of recognizing these pictures. So in our study, we reach about 70%. So in that sense, it's like human is like 100%. We replicate 70% of the human intelligence of understanding these pictures. So some of you may question, why not 100%? Why not 99? I want to say, you know, I don't want to be very saying this is even the 70%. It takes us three and a half years, almost 4 years to reach the 70% to understand these complicated business pictures. But I do want to say that in the medical field, we need to 99% of accuracy because because I just I don't know if you guys into the some of the medical stuff. For medical image recognition, because this is about a human patient, that accuracy needs to be 99% over that to be very accurate. But for our this project, the lot of error term actually can be consumed by later the regressions and analysis. So basically, we have a higher tolerance about this kind of error term compared to some medical field. So that's why we kind of stop at 70% of replicating human intelligence or recognizing these pictures. So I don't want to go to the details about this, how we did this training process, but the idea here is we first use the pre-built model, ImageNet, and based on ImageNet, we construct a convolutional neural network, and we train a model iteration. Like I said, we did a lot of iteration for 2-3 years, and after the iteration, the machine can understand the human's pattern of understanding these pictures. So about 70% of accuracy about 70% of human intelligence. If you can understand that, we can put that in a naive way. So that basically that's the algorithm we use. We try to use, like I said, we try to use a pre-built model, and based on pre-built model, we add our new model, and then to understand these specific business pictures. So this is some accuracy you can see about.
Sean, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm Alex in finance.
Alex, yeah.
So I guess there are also some AI models that use like verbal information, right, to predict, to kind of price the stocks. So I guess the next step for this type of models is to use it in conjunction with those type of models, that also use verbal information, and then probably you can improve the performance of your model.
Yeah, so this is exactly what you're talking about, Alex. So you can see that so you can see that so we did a 2x2 matrix. So basically we try to see whether two approaches improve this accuracy. One is using text information you're talking about, right? Using text, that's one. Another one is we try to use the transfer CNN. So what does transfer CNN means? So basically in the image analysis, a lot of simple objective has been already trained. So for example, you want to understand this is a cup. So the pre-built model already can recognize this is a cup. So basically you put the cup image in, the model will tell you this is cup. You want to show this is a keyboard, you put the keyboard image in, the model will tell you this is keyboard. So most of a common objective has been well trained in a pre-built model. So what we did is we want to build on this model. So basically we use this pre-trained model. The pre-trained model can already help us recognize what is the cup, what is the keyboard, what is the computer. So the pre-trained model can already help us to recognize these common objectives, but they cannot help us to understand this business setting, because this business setting is very complicated. They are not just one objective. There's millions of objectives. It's construction website, it's a product design. For this particularly objectives, there's no model can help us to do that. So, but what we did is we based on this common objective model. We based on that we built another machine learning to use the pre-trained model who can help us to understand this common objective. Based on that, we built our own model to understand this specific product, construction website, and expansion plan. So that's the transfer learning means. We want to stand on the shoulder of the giant using some predictive model, but this predictive model do not help us to understand the specific questions. So that's why we want to build our own model on the pre-built model. So, but you can see that going back to Alex's question, adding the textual information do not add much. So you can see that the CNN without the textual information, it's like 76.5 accuracy. After adding textual information, it's only about 1% improved. So the text information improve a little bit, but not much. Even we use the transfer learning, the accuracy is about 70%, 96.3%. After you add in the textual information, it's only 71.9. So there's one explanation for that, Alex. The explanation for that is during the presentation of this CEO, there's not much time for them to explain these pictures. So basically, it's a little different from 10K. If you look at a 10K, each bar and the plots, there's a lot of paragraphs to explain the plots and tell you everything is going on. So sometimes you are not sure whether you can get the picture information from picture or from the textual narrative. But the presentation is different. The CEO only have 15 minutes to present the 30 slides. Each picture, they only have like very few language to describe the picture. So the text information is from their description, their language, which is very, not a rich information source in my setting. And that's what I want. That's what we want, because if the setting has rich picture and rich text, it's very confounding, like where is the information from? Is the price impact from the picture or the price impact from the text information? So this is a setting actually we want. We want a setting where we have a lot of picture information with very little narrative explanation about the pictures. So this is why we don't see much improve about after we add in the text information into the picture. Yeah, does that help? Does it help?
Yeah, thank you.
Sean,
Okay.
the textual information you're talking about, is that what's written on the slide next to the image, or is that something that's said verbally during the presentation?
So what we did here is the text information on the slides, and then we also did a robustness check to get the transcript of the talk. But the transcript talk, we found that so the CEO, their talking is very little sentence, doesn't add much. So we don't have the full transcript data. We only have like a very subset, the small subset of transcript data. So we dig into the example of the transcript. We found like they don't have much saying about these pictures. So we did both, but what you see here is from the slides. But we also look into the transcript, which do not add much to the explanation. Yeah. Good questions. Yeah.
The phone, just on its own, is it a prototype or is it existing phone? I would probably need more explanation, as a user of this information, visual information, right? To make my classification, whether it's forward looking or past summary.
Yes. CEO definitely explain, but they just don't have the time to go details. So like for example, this so for these examples you see, so you can see this is a future car, right? So they can show you what's the stage and stuff in the picture, can kind of explain to you what is going on. Even the expansion plan, they are going to build some new construction along the way. So they just don't have the time to go over the parameters, like what's going on. So I think that's actually that's what we want about the setting, because if CEO have too much time explain it, we can just look at the annual report, right? So we don't have to look at the pictures. Yeah, does it make sense? Yeah. Okay.
It's new because it says new and by a certain time period, right? By I don't know, 2012 or something. So that's why I know, for example, prototype and the black out silhouette. So that's what tells me that.
Yeah, definitely some texture will help, but not all, right? So for this construction, it's difficult to. There's no new. There's no stuff. So this is sometimes it just takes the human intelligence to recognize this is forward looking by looking at the pictures, right? So yeah, we can show more examples. Yeah. So so I want to go over the empirical results. So basically, you can see that the operational forward is about future pictures. The operational summary is about past operational. So we can see that the 6 day. So this is the concentrate around the presentation date. So 6 days around the presentation days, you can see the market reaction. but only for the operational forward, not for the operational summary. And we're also looking at the long horizon. So if you see the returns from the day 4 to day 13, we don't see much prediction on the stock returns. So this means that all the pictures of the presentation will be incorporated into stock price around the presentation day. There's no drift, there's no delay. So we don't see that the market really takes a long time to understand this kind of picture. All the information will be digested by the market within either 6 days or 4 days. So this is what I see about the presentation. So then we want to see the performance. So this is what we're talking about. The pictures, operational pictures, do not affect Q1, Q2, Q3 earnings. Only affects Q4 and the next year earnings. So basically, these forward-looking pictures will have implication for long-term performance, not short-term. So this is in a positive way. So this is what we also see for the sales as well. For the operational summary, you can see for the past performance, for the past operations, it affects the past quarters, the recent quarters. But for the future operations, it only affects the fourth quarter and next year. But you can see operational summary, it actually affects the very near-term quarters. So this is the difference between operational forward and operational summary. And then we also did analysts to see analysts also react to the presentation pictures as well. So this is analysts to validate. Analysts also using these pictures for their forecast decision as well. So the next term is what we're going back to see who are using these pictures. So we divide the hedge fund into AI-equipped institutional investors and the non-AI. You can see the most of trading happens for the AI. For non-AI institutional investors, there's no much trading going on. So you can see that this is what we did earlier. So after we split the institutional investors into AI and non-AI, most of actions concentrated on the AI institutions. So, and then we also did retail investors. So we also using the retail investor trading to see do retail investor trading on this. So none of them are trading. So we use all kinds of retail investor trading method. None of the retail investors are trading on this kind of pictures. So basically the pictures are exclusively used by AI institutions. That's why earlier I was talking about, is this a really fair game for the market participants? Maybe it's fair because these people, AI investors, AI institutions, they spend money on this AI technology, they recruit AI people, and then they should be rewarded by this kind of superior return. In that sense, it's fair. But on the other hand, for those people, for retail investors, do not have the technology, and I mean, they are always behind the game. Is that really what we want? I mean, I don't have a solution, I don't have an answer, but these are some questions we can think about when we facing the rise of technology. There are always some debate and ethics and fairness issue about this technology. So and then we also replicate this one at firm level. So earlier it's at the fund level. So each institutional investors we're using their trading data to show that this at the firm level. At firm level, we confirm our evidence before. So earlier we using the institutional investor trading data to see they trade on these AI pictures. But this one at the firm level, at aggregate that firm level, we found the conforming event as well. So bottom line, what we want to share here is, we want to show some pictures are useful, but not all pictures. Only pictures about future products operations are useful. And we want to show not everyone are using these pictures. Only AI investors, institutional investors are using this. And I just want we want the audience to think, what's the implication for fairness, for rewarding of the technology, for a lot of issues we can think about. So yeah, I want to conclude by my presentation here, but there's some other studies if you guys look at my website. So this is just one AI study I'm doing. And earlier when Jano asked me about how institutional investors using AI, so in other studies I also built another AI system for institutional investors the AI can comprehend the public information of firms in a system in an instant way. And so I also have some other studies showing. So when firms news, if I'm a CEO, if I know my 10K and press release are all read by machine instead of by human, how should CEO to respond to them? So basically, you can see that right now, for investors' perspective, investors can use AI to analyze all this data. But as a corporate manager, if I know my press release and annual report are all read by machine, not by human, how should the corporate manager respond to these AI readers instead of machine readers, instead of human readers? So this is this is another studies we also did in the paper. We also have like studies using AI to understand the human decision. So I told you guys I was computer science major. The reason I switched to business is because I feel human beings are most complicated for me to understand. I mean, for a lot of modeling in the computer science, you can still use the maths model optimization. You can do that, but now still, the more I live, the less I understand myself. I feel so. So how can we use AI to understand human decision process? That's another study I did. It's very complicated. When humans make decisions, a lot of factors affect your decision making: your educational background, your expertise, your personality, emotion. So how can we use machine learning to understand these human traits, to understand the human decision-making process? That's another studies we did in our project. Also, we want to understand some of the mutual fund managers. So, a lot of mutual fund managers, they talk about their fund strategy. They talk about their market overlook. So we also crawl all these fund managers' narrative, and we trying to understand these narratives, and then to show that whether the fund manager has the skills to manage this market downturn and also understand, deliver future performance of the fund performance. So these are all examples I was talking about using AI, fintech, machine learning to help the market, to help understand the human being, understand the capital markets, help investors, help regulators, help auditors. So if you guys are interested, feel free to check my website, and you can see I have a program of research on this domain, and I want more people join and do this kind of research. So I also post a lot of tutorial videos online. The video explain like what is the convolutional neural network. I did explanation on that. I explained what's the common textual analysis method you can use. I also explained what's the industry trend using fintech. So I put a lot of tutorial videos online. You guys can check. I try to, like I said, I try to make all the explanation in plain English without requiring any computer science background. That's the goal I have. But sometimes I may not achieve that goal. But that's the journey I want to pursue. So